advocates for legal amendments to modernize the laws in the country. And Demeke Mekonnen says Ethiopia deserves hosting significant sport events as the country has great fame and honor in sports. Hello and thank you all for joining us. You're watching Addis News Hour with the news. I'm Tabitha John. Do stay with us. The Ethiopian Human Rights Commission advocates for legal amendments to modernize the laws in the country. The Commission, along with relevant stakeholders, overviewed the new draft law on criminal investigation and the due process of law. Alula Teklamariam reports.
Ethiopia's criminal law has long been a source of complaint for violating human rights and distorting the justice system of the nation. In connection to this, Ethiopian Human Rights Commission took the initiative to suggest options setting draft criminal law believed to help protect human rights in the due process of the law. Daniel Bekele, Commissioner of the Ethiopian Human Rights Commission, said the draft is expected to ensure speedy trial in line with protecting human rights.
We
believe the existing criminal law needs to be amended. There have been numerous complaints in connection to the justice system of the nation. This draft has been referred to the Parliament for approval. Once approved, it's believed to bring about measurable result in the total due process of law.
A panelist at the event and the UN Human Rights Officer at the East African region, Kinete Tebeb Kasa, said the draft law on criminal code is highly anticipated to transform Ethiopia's justice system.
This draft law will help address challenges which still have been in place in the existing criminal code. It protects the rights of suspects during police investigation. It also ensures speedy trial, strengthens bargaining process before and after a charge is issued.
They need to amend the existing criminal code that seems to be within reach and inevitable.
The Ethiopian Central Statistics Agency announced that the absence of the National Population and Housing Census has hampered the achievement of its plans. Here is Kasahun Chane for more on that news.
The Central Statistics Agency proclaimed the non-appearance of updated National Population and Housing Census has hampered its plan to succeed accordingly. The agency is consulting with various stakeholders on the implementation of its plan and performance back and forth of 5 years.
This workshop is 3 consecutive days consultation meeting. It was known that we had been conducting national plans every 5 years. For instance, the Growth and Transformation Plan, both the first and second. And the second GTP was ended last year. So when all these plans were prepared to evaluate the growth indicator, as it must have been a measurement to bring about the necessary standard, quality and quantity to have an accepted official data in both the national and international level. The agency has done its maximum efforts to analyze and organize the data more than ever that has shown improvement in this regard.
According to the Central Statistics Agency, Ethiopia has done a noble job in preparing and analyzing the data to be evaluated internationally in an organized manner. The Central Statistics Agency also said that it has done better in the past by analyzing data and making it more accessible.
In the
Central Statistics Agency, for the last 5 years, we have planned major activities, particularly on revising the statistics law, then generating various information from surveys, census, and also from different fields through conducting studies. coordinating the national system to be strengthened more, facilitating the human resource capacity, infrastructure development, implementing the advocacy system, and collecting the financial sources of income were the enormous responsibility done vividly. But we have done better only on data development. We have failed to achieve our plan with the absence of the national population and housing census.
On the other hand, the agency intimated that there were limitations in the performance of Ethiopia's statistical work due to lack of planning and strong statistical legislation. The agency reiterated the lack of population and housing census and the outbreak of coronavirus pandemic are major problems.
Major General Burhanu Baqqala, Chief Commander of the Republican Guard, said the Ethiopian Republican Guard had proved its strength by inflicting heavy damage upon the junta at the Raya and Western fronts. The success achieved by the commando unit after breaking through the trench built by the junta at Adik-Aye areas had made Ethiopians proud of them. Major General Burhanu further said the Republican Guard had carried out successful works during the military operation conducted up to the city of Mekelle, including from Humera up to Dansha. In addition to the law enforcement measures, members of the unit have been conducting effective operations of demolishing bandits in West Wallagga and Metakel zones, he said. Major General Burhanu said the infantry, mechanized, special and the air forces and other stakeholders contributed their share for the success of the law enforcement operation.
नया 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 सा कुछ महसूस होता है जहाँ ये जरा लेटअप है जैसे न कोई सोता है सोते को जगाना है मीठा कुछ खिलाना है रात के 12 बजते हैप्पी हैप्पी न्यू ईयर क्या पागली हैप्पी हैप्पी न्यू ईयर नया साल में
Foreign media outlets that are still propagating erroneous information about Ethiopia clearly show the whole world the fact that they can't report objectively and professionally. Professor of Political Science, International Relations and Global Mass Media, Buruk Hailu made this remark in an interview with ETV English. He reiterates unreliable information sources as well as preconceived and prejudiced expectations that the TPLF junta would win the battle against the incumbent are some of the driving factors behind the wrong narratives. Shifarau Lago has interviewed the professor.
Ethiopian authorities have time and again explained the purpose of the law enforcement operation in the Ethiopian Tigray state, which the government was forced to act when the TPLF junta had stabbed the North Command in the back. Instead of reporting realities on the ground, most of the international media outlets keep telling the world a distorted image of developments in Ethiopia. ETV has approached the distinguished political scientist and expert in international mass media, Professor Buruk Hailu, asking for his views in this regard.
As to the foreign media, it seems really, I would say, it was not well covered in a very objective and professional way. As media and journalist people, they need to cover both sides as to what the Ethiopian government is saying and as to what the opposition is saying. In that regard, it means they have failed. They have failed to report objectively. All this has a reason. There was a certain expectation in outcome, I would say. The expectation of the foreign media especially was that the former ruling party of Ethiopia, the TPLF, would win the war in a very dramatic way. And they were even expecting it, saying that they are battle hardened, they had 40 plus years of experience, and they were expecting that the federal government will be weakened and even maybe lose. I think that was a shock therapy in a way. Their expectation was, the outcome was totally different.
A bunch of authorities and reporters who made a living out of the sheer dependence on the TPLF clique for the past 3 or so decades were sources for these foreign media outlets.
And also, when we talk about the foreign media, the guys who are said to be authorities on Ethiopia, we could name them by names, who even made a career out of reporting and writing about Ethiopia and Ethiopian politics and the Horn for the last 35, 40 years. They were always looked up as a source, as a source of analysis, as a source of this. And guess what? Well, they don't have to guess, actually. The saddest part is this few people who are always quoted by this, and I don't want to name names, the Western newspapers and medias. Their expectation will be TPLF will win. And also what we shouldn't forget is that they had a 35 to 40 years connection with the TPLF people. I mean, there was a certain bond, and they had always their sources from inside and their expectation that they would win. So when they were asked, interviewed, or when they wrote about the current politics in Ethiopia, what happened in the north, when the northern Ethiopian army, the northern command was attacked, they only wanted to see things from their own point of view. So, by the way, that had really resulted in their miscreditation. They lost credibility, I would say.
The professor also urges the Ethiopian government to do more public relations work as frequently and quickly as possible, especially to the Western world. The scholar argues that quietness leaves a space for those elements adept at interpreting things in empty air the way they want.
In business news, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed has today stated that Ethiopia is blessed with many natural minerals that have the potential to transform livelihoods of people engaged in the artisanal mining sector. Ethiopia's natural minerals have the potential to transform lives of local artisanal miners and communities through enabling value addition, the Premier said. Gold and base metals, potash, tantalum, sapphire, emeralds, and opal are some of the precious minerals Ethiopia is endowed with, according to the Prime Minister. By creating national capabilities for manufacturing, the government will bolster export and foreign earning potential, the Premier added. The National Bank of Ethiopia has resumed changing old banknotes with the new ones in the Tigray regional state. The bank suspended changing the old currencies in Tigray due to the law enforcement operations that were being carried out in the regional state. As of today, residents can change their old currencies to new notes for the coming 14 days, including on Saturday and Sunday, said the National Bank. As the deadline to change old banknotes for amount of 100,000 to 1.5 million birr was over before the start of the operation, those who have that amount will not benefit from the services resumed today, it said. However, those who have an amount of less than 100,000 birr can change their old banknotes by visiting nearby banks, added the bank. It is to be recalled that Ethiopia introduced new currency notes with enhanced security features and other distinctive elements as of last September. Tourism Ethiopia announced that it has made special investment incentives at 7 different Ethiopian tourist destinations. It is disclosed that the development of the tourism sector will help to change the lives of the people and enhance Ethiopia's development. Goshu Mellisau has more from ENA.
The destinations provided with special incentives are Abidjan Tashala Lakes, Geralta Mountain, Samin Mountains, Nechisar Park, and the Ertale active volcano. Tourism Ethiopia Director General Sleshi Girma told INA that the tourism sector has not been effective. Currently, the sector is given due attention and 7 different Ethiopian tourist destinations received special incentives.
The Tourism and Investment Board has approved special incentive for 7 tourism destinations in Ethiopia. Among them, Abiata, Shala Lakes, Bale Mountains, Wonchi Lake, Geralta Mountain, Samin Mountains, Nechisar Park, and the Ertale active volcano are found.
He pointed out that the special incentives include tax exemption for 5 years and duty-free import.
ሰባት ልዩ የኢንቨስትመንት ማበረታቻ ቢደረግላቸው ቶሎ ትኩረት አግኝተው በመንግስት እንኳን አቅም ባይሰሩ
If the 7 tourist destinations received incentives, investors will be able to develop them swiftly. From the 7 tourist destinations, Abiata Shala Lake is the one in Rift Valley. If investors participate in this opportunity, they will take the advantage of 5 years tax relief.
የቀረጥ ነጻ ማበረታቻ መኪና ማስገባት እሱ እንዳለ ሆኖ ከዛ ተጨማሪ አንድ ሰው እዚህ አብያታ ሻላ አካባቢ ቢሰራ 5 ዓመት ግብር አይከፍልም.
He noted that Ethiopia, with its over 3,000 years history, is a leading African country in terms of culture, natural resources and heritage. Taking advantage of this opportunity is an alternative to extricate Ethiopia from poverty.
በቀጣይነት ህዝቡ ተጠቃሚ ሊሆን የሚችለው ስራ ዕድል ሊፈጠርለት የሚችለው
I believe that our future is in the tourism sector, where we can generate income, create jobs and benefit the people. That there is huge potential in the sector. Therefore, I believe that tourism will make a difference if it can be sold directly in the market.
ስለዚህ ይሄን በቀጥታ ወደ ገበያ አቅርቦ አስፈላጊ የሆኑ ፋሲሊቲዎችን አሟልቶ
However, there is an opportunity that could easily move Ethiopia forward in the tourism sector, the Director General added.
Samhal Gouash, an Ethiopian architect, is making remarkable leather bags for the US and European markets. Talking to how he made it in Africa, Samhal said she has been facing many challenges to realize her childhood dream, but she's overcoming them all. Haptam Washagri tells you more of that story.
It was a journey that started as a hobby for Samhal Gouash. While in the university training as an architect, she started making hand bracelets from leather waste, which later led her to start Cabana Leather, a firm that produces a wide range of bags, mainly targeting foreign markets. Talking to how we made it in Africa, her hobby became a businesswoman when she employed someone and saw the impact it made on their life. She quit her job at an architectural firm to run Cabana full-time. Samhal produces under her own brand and also has a division that produces for international labels. Since the establishment of the firm in 2017, it had focused on the international market. According to Samhal, she is planning to expand her business in Europe as well as African markets.
We're majorly targeting export market, 100% export market. Me and my team produce the quality products and try to compete internationally. And currently we're exporting to the US market and Europe market, hoping to expand to the more European countries and more African countries.
However, following the outbreak of the coronavirus pandemic, the firm made adjustments so as to focus on the local market in a bid to water down the effect of the pandemic on its business operations. The bulk of its products are sold in the US and Europe, and a small consignment sold in Rwanda and South Africa. Gouash said her brand tries to have launched twice a year. The article-turned manufacturer attributes the success of her firm to its niche for functional bags made local instead of concentrating on seasonal or fashionable products. Also, Gouash's business has largely grown as a result of recommendations from satisfied customers.
A delegation led by the Chinese Investment Council, comprising of more than 200 international Chinese investors, visited Gamo Zone to discuss investment opportunities with senior Gamo Zone officials and reached upon an agreement. Gamo Zone Government Communication Affairs said the investors were briefed on the investment opportunities in the zone, particularly in agriculture, mining and tourism. Head of the delegation and owner of an agriculture development company, Shayi Yoshi, said the investors are interested in investing up to $100 million in the industrial park, agro-processing, construction, mining and tourism sectors. He recalled that the investors had visited various areas in the zone in the past and said they had met the preconditions to start investing soon.